Hello! You are watching the Garden Corner Show. We are, of course, crazy passionate about everything gardening that we know of. I am J-Dog John Carstroom. I'm out here with Mr. Dave. It is just starting to rain. We had that great sunshine, and now the rain's coming. So you can see we're not even prepared for rain. So we want to shoot this really quick, but I do want to give a shout out. One thing about us, though, I just need to tell you, is we are very, very real. A big shout out to Tanya Tomei. Tanya, wow, you've been to Prague. How exciting. Becky Ann Swanson, Deborah Street, Had Walmer. What's your next adventure, Had? Melissa Ray, Heidi Dizinger. Heidi's a classmate. Hi, Heidi, how you doing? Carrie Mahandro. Great pick of you guys, Carrie. Are you guys at the coast? My good friend Spencer out in Florida. Hi, Spence. Spence says this about himself. Spencer is a self-proclaimed plant geek extraordinaire. Happiness is a sore back and dirty fingernails. Keep rocking, Spence. And to Dennis Pack. Mr. Pack was our science bio teacher way back in high school at Woodburn High. And neat story about Mr. Pack. Now, I had him in study hall, but it was freshman year. I got to tell you really quick. Freshman year, I had an issue with my zipper. It would not stay up. And so I thought, well, maybe a stapler would do. And I went up to Mr. Pack and said, hey, Mr. Pack, do you have a stapler? And he said, what do you need a stapler for? And I told him, he said, you know, that zipper, you zip it up and you push it down, and there's a little lock on that, and that should hold your pants up. Anyway, it's worked ever since. Thank you very much, Mr. Pack. And keep rocking. Anyway, let's get right into it. I want to talk about grasses today because I'm getting lots of questions. Folks are thinking way back in the summer months when they visited some garden or saw someone's garden and really enjoyed that nice grass look. And grasses in the landscape, of course, bring another dimension, and I like them. And different colors and textures as well. But what we're thinking is way back in the end of summer, and now we're up here in the front of springtime, and we're looking out, expecting all these nice grasses, and we're really kind of seeing a little bit of sleepiness. So I want to go over some grasses right now that are waking up to keep an eye out. And that might do you better even year-round in the landscape. So let's go over a few of those that have just arrived. One is the carex. This is a carex prairie fire. Now, neat thing about this guy is really keep an eye out for this one. It is a shorter type of carex. Doesn't get more than 2.5 feet tall. It's an upright, stiff type upright grass, so it doesn't flop over as much. Neat thing about this one, what makes this one really superior is that it catches, I like to say it catches fire, but it's really an orangey red color in that hot summer sun. So keep an eye out. It's a perfect name for this, Carex prairie fire. Another one that is always a neat treat when I see this in the garden, and this is Stipa tenuissima. And Stipa, there's actually a new name for that. Do you remember what that one was, Mr. Dave? He doesn't remember. There's a new name for Stipa. I forgot what it is. It starts with an N, I think so. Neat thing about this guy is this is very, very soft. If texture is important to you, you definitely use this one. You can see how fine it is. What makes this one also famous is it comes up and it has these soft tan plumes on them that really wave gently, and even the slightest of breeze. Doesn't get very tall, only gets about, I want to say 2.5 feet tall with the plumes. Very nice. It isn't evergreen, so don't expect it to be something we shear back, but comes out that nice fresh green in the springtime. Stipa tenuissima, something great for a good effect in the garden. Of course, I do want to tell you about some standards. This is fescue, or festuca, if you want to be very botanical. This is festuca Elijah's Blue. It is a another stalwart. Is stalwart is that a term? Stalwart. That means tough, right? Stalwart. Okay. So do you ever describe anyone as a stalwart person?
Not really.
Not lately. He is a stalwart friend. Anyway, a good tough guy. Now, one thing about now, I would use the Elijah's Blue for color. Tiny, tiny little color. About a foot tall, maybe a tad bit larger. It does in the middle of summer when it stresses out. It turns out these tan blooms that don't kind of go with the picture very well. But be firm with this guy. This is one that if you had I want to say a wayward child, use firm, loving care. Shear that back down to the ground, because you just get fresh new growth. And do that even in the summertime if it burns out on you. Of course, I do have to tell you about another dependable guy, Acorus Ogon. Acorus always looks good. Sun, shade, dry, wet, so containers in the ground. So definitely a nice one to use in all kinds of combinations. There's the Ogon, which is the golden, and then there's the variegatus, which is the lime, what would we say, cream and green coloring on that. So always very good. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grasses you can look out now. Certainly the summer blooming, the later grasses, they're just starting to wake up. I am heading to Southern California. They're further along right now in the grasses, so that warmth kind of wakes them up a little quicker. We bring those in the springtime, first of spring, because I know you're ready to rock and roll, to get in the garden. So I want to have some grasses ready for you. And then later on in the summer, we'll have the Oregon grasses. Both can do you well. Both are the same variety, so not to worry about anything about that. Anyway, that is the show for the day. I hope that helps. Did it help? Did it seem helpful, Mr. Dave?
I know all about grasses.
He knows all about grasses now. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, here is the quote for the day. Happiness and sadness run parallel to each other. When one takes a rest, the other tends to take up the slack. Thank you very much, Hazel Marie Elliott. That's the show for the day. Always live your passion.
See me right out of the sunset on the color TV screen.